All right, to start the video, whenever you have an exchange of energy, no energy is really created in an even exchange of energy. So when you eat food, the body is made of energy, and the food that you're eating is made of energy, and they exchange. The food takes something, and you take something. That's how this life goes. You inhale and exhale. So anything else than that would be a parasitic activity, but it all has to balance out anyway. So regardless, there is no increase in energy when you eat. It's just a communication. It's just you communicating with yourself in that form. You're communicating with an apple, which is yourself in plant form. That's all it is. It's a communication between self and self. And if it's a natural thing, if it's a crab apple that was natural, that was here when there was more people of nature here, or whatever, what have you, whatever the natural things are, that would be an exchange of energy. You would get something out of it as far as knowledge of self, because a natural thing is full of knowledge of self. And if you're full of knowledge of self, you have no appetite because you're full of self. So, with that said, our true diet is really music. It's all vibration, of course. Our true diet is music, sunlight, air, and for the earth's sake, herbs. Herbs would be a better. There's more electricity in the herbs. I mean, this food that you're eating or consuming today, the ground is so eroded from the PKO and all the. It's just not. There's really, it's just placebo basically. And what you feel when you get that rush when you eat is just the flow of iron through your body. That's it. And again, it depletes your iron to process incomplete foods. You have a whole body. You want whole foods. So my beef with sugar, which isn't really a beef because sugar is what it is, and if it's confined in the wrapping of something, it's more easily digested than a refined sugar. Of course, I'm not ignorant. Don't ever take me for that as far as when I say sugar. But sugar, regardless of what it is something that is not necessary in for life. It's something you can base your diet on. You can do it. There's plenty of things you can do. You can do a lot of things that don't make them things correct, but you can do them because you have the will of God. So and the will of man, and a heart that has its own will. Then together, there's the Trinity. So are you letting the man or the beast run the show? And most people that basically basing their life on sugar, yeah, you are. Plenty of people will tell me like that they don't like herbs or whatever because of the bitterness, but you need good bitters. You can't have the bitter without the sweet. You wouldn't even know what sweet is. So you need to balance them. So if you have no bitter coming in, it really has to do with you being so bitter inside already that you just reach for sweet. So if you're balanced and you're bitter and you're sweet, you have no urge at that point. When sugar comes with need. Anybody that's really needy is gonna reach for sugar in all likelihood. And again, the more needy you are, the more sugar you want. So if you want alcohol, that's just a greater form of sugar. If you want white bread, any form of bread, all pastas, grains, and these things, the sugar creates the lymph. The lymph is where parasites can exist and lay their larvae. So when we have parasites in a system, the parasite itself has its own will. It has a job. It does what it's supposed to do. You're dying. It converts dead energy into something that is more useful, something that is holistic, because you're being incomplete, so you can start to be converted. That's just the process of life. You can't escape that. So that there's plenty of people running around, 85% of America, with some form of parasite, mainly worms. So the will of that entity and the thousands of babies that they're supporting inside of you, that is real. That is a real thing. That is a force there, and you can discount dreams if you want, but if you're not remembering them, most likely traumatic things happening. That's why you don't remember things, because of traumatic reasons. Something happened traumatically, and you can't handle it. So until you clean up this life, you won't be able to address what you've dirtied up in the other lives. So you clean up this life, then you realize what the parasites that might have been in you, what they did in those other layers of your life. So you clean all that up, then you can begin to remember your dreams. Then you can begin to control them. So that's life in a nutshell.